The great hall of the Galactic Assembly was full of light. Hundreds of beings from 50 different worlds sat in wide circles. They came in all shapes and sizes. Some had scales, some had fur, and others had skin that changed colors. But they all shared one thing. None of them knew true war. Quan, the blue-skinned ambassador with 4 arms, stood at the center platform. His voice carried through the hall. "The reports from the outer worlds are clear," he said. "The Vex ships have attacked 3 more planets this cycle. They take what they want and kill anyone who tries to stop them." Worried sounds filled the room. The assembly had known peace for over 200 years. Most species had forgotten how to fight long ago. Day, a small scientist with silver eyes, spoke up. "What do we know about these Vex? Why do they attack us?" Quan shook his head. "They do not answer our calls for peace. They only seem to want our resources and our worlds." An ambassador with long tentacles for arms waved them in distress. "What can we do? Our ships are for travel and trade, not war." The assembly fell into loud debate. Some wanted to try to talk to the Vex again. Others thought they should hide their worlds better. No one had any real plan to fight back. That's when the alarm started. Red lights flashed across the hall. A voice came through the speakers. "Unknown ship approaching at high speed. It has passed all outer defenses." Panic broke out in the hall. Ambassadors jumped from their seats. Guards rushed to protect the leaders. "Is it the Vex?" Dai asked, her silver eyes wide with fear. Quan looked at the big screen showing space around the station. A ship was coming fast. It was smoking, and parts of it were broken. It did not look like any ship he had seen before. "Everyone stay calm," Quan shouted. "Defense systems, prepare to—" He didn't finish. The strange ship crashed into the docking bay of the station. The whole station shook, the lights flickered. "We are being invaded," someone screamed. Guards rushed toward the docking area. Quan and Dai followed, though many told them to hide. They had to see what was happening. When they reached the docking bay, smoke filled the air. The strange ship was black and gray with red marks on it. It was not big, but it looked tough. Parts of it were burned or broken. The words "Dauntless" were written on its side in a language no one knew. The ship's door opened with a hiss. Everyone stepped back. A figure stumbled out. It stood on 2 legs and had 2 arms, like many species in the galaxy. But this one wore some kind of hard suit covered in burn marks. Dark red blood, both red and some purple, stained the suit. The being pulled off its helmet. It looked almost like some of the assembly species, but with minor differences. Its skin was light brown, and it had black hair cut short. Its face showed pain but also strength. "I'm Captain Tay of the Earthship Dauntless," the being said in a rough voice. "We need help. We have wounded." More of these beings appeared at the door of the ship. One was being carried, clearly hurt badly. Quan stepped forward, trying to be brave. "What are you? Why have you come here?" Captain Tay looked at Quan with tired eyes. "We're humans, and we just saved your lives, though you don't know it yet." More humans came out of the ship. One of them, taller than Captain Tay, with a gentler face, stepped forward. "I am Ju, science officer and translator," she said. "We apologize for our rough arrival. We had no choice." Day moved closer, curious despite her fear. "What happened to you? Why are you hurt?" Captain Tay wiped blood from his face. "We found a Vex battle fleet headed this way. 8 ships loaded with troops. They were coming for this station." The assembly members looked at each other in shock. "Where is this fleet now?" Quan asked. "Destroyed," said another human, a strong-looking one with a scar across his cheek. "I'm Han, tactical officer. We took out 3 ships before they knew what hit them. The rest tried to fight back." Captain Tay nodded. "We couldn't let them reach you. But our ship took heavy damage." No one spoke for a moment. These strange beings, these humans, had fought the enemy that the whole assembly feared. And they had won, even though it hurt them. "You fought the Vex? On purpose?" Day asked, her voice full of wonder and confusion. Ju smiled a little. "On Earth, we have a saying. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. We couldn't do nothing. Medical teams finally arrived. They looked unsure about how to help these unknown beings. Our doctor will show you what we need, Ju said, pointing to a human with gentle hands who was already working on one of the wounded. Quan called for an emergency meeting of the assembly leaders. Within an hour, they gathered in a small room near the docking bay. Captain Tay and Ju joined them, though Tay still looked weak from fighting. Tell us everything, Quan said. Captain Tay leaned forward in his chair. We're from a planet called Earth. We're new to space travel, only been out among the stars for about 50 years. We were exploring when the Vex found us. His eyes grew dark with memory. They attacked without warning, destroyed our colony on Mars, killed thousands. Ju continued the story. We hadn't built weapons for space yet. We had to learn quickly. The past 10 years we've been fighting them whenever we find them. The assembly leaders looked shocked. One, with green scales, spoke up. You seek out conflict? The assembly has worked for centuries to avoid war. Captain Tay shook his head. We seek to protect ourselves and others. The Vex don't want peace. How did you find us? Quan asked. We followed the Vex fleet, Han explained, now joining them. We intercepted their communications. They were planning to attack this station, the heart of your assembly. They called it a soft target. The words hung in the air like a bad smell. The assembly had been proud of its peaceful ways. Now those same ways had made them weak in the face of an enemy. You said you destroyed their fleet? Day asked. Han nodded. All 8 ships, but not before they damaged us badly. We lost 12 crew members. The room fell silent again. These humans had lost their own people to save strangers. Why? Quan finally asked. Why would you risk yourselves for us? You don't know us. Captain Tay looked at him with steady eyes. Because that's what humans do. We protect those who can't protect themselves. And right now it looks like the assembly needs protecting. Ju placed a small device on the table. It projected images of dozens of Vex ships. This isn't over, she said softly. The 8 ships we destroyed were just scouts. Our intelligence suggests there are many more coming. Fear filled the room again, but this time there was something else too, a small bit of hope, because they were not alone anymore. Humans had shown up late to the galactic community. They had arrived bloody from battle, uninvited to the peaceful assembly. But maybe, just maybe, they had arrived just in time. 2 days after the humans crashed into the assembly station, things were still tense. Many aliens watched the humans with fear. Others looked at them with wonder. Captain Tay walked through the main hall with his arm in a healing wrap. Aliens moved out of his way. Some pointed and whispered. They act like they've never seen someone who can fight before. Tay said to Ju, who walked beside him. Maybe they haven't, Ju said. The assembly has been peaceful for centuries. War is just a story from history books to them. They were headed to meet with the assembly leaders. Quan had called for a special meeting to decide what to do about the humans and about the Vex threat. Captain Tay, a small voice called from behind them. They turned to see Day, the silver-eyed scientist. She hurried to catch up with them. I have been studying your ship, she said. The weapons you use, they are simple but very effective. Thanks, I think, Tay said. Human weapons are built to work, not to look pretty. But how do you make these choices, Day asked. To build things that hurt rather than heal? Tay and Ju shared a look. This was going to be a hard talk. On Earth, Ju explained, we had to protect ourselves for thousands of years, from animals, from nature, and sometimes from each other. Making weapons is part of our history. Day nodded slowly. And now you protect others too. When we can, Tay said. They reached the meeting room. It was a large circle with seats all around. The most important assembly leaders were already there, including Quan. Please sit, Quan said. We have much to discuss. Tay, Ju, and Han sat in seats that seemed too soft and delicate for them. A few more humans joined them, including Sun, their best engineer. My fellow assembly members, Quan began, we face a threat unlike any in our recent history. The Vex continue to attack outer worlds, and now we know they plan to attack this station too. Murmurs spread through the room. These humans, Quan continued, have fought the Vex and won. They have knowledge we need. A tall alien with purple skin stood up. But can we trust them? They seem so violent. Tay tried not to roll his eyes. Instead, he stood up. I understand your concern, he said. To you, we must seem strange and scary, but we fight only to protect. The Vex attacked our home just like they're attacking yours. We had to learn to defend ourselves. Show them, Ju whispered. Tay nodded and pulled up his sleeve. A long scar ran from his wrist to his elbow. I got this helping people escape when the Vex attacked our Mars colony, he said. 12 of my crew died 2 days ago saving your station. We don't love fighting, but we're good at it and sometimes fighting is necessary. The room was quiet. Then Day spoke up. I believe them, she said, and I think we need their help. Quan looked around the room. We need to vote. Do we accept the humans' help against the Vex? The vote was close, but in the end, enough assembly members said yes. Then it's settled, Quan said. The humans will help us prepare our defenses. The next few days were busy. The humans split up to work with different aliens on different problems. Sun, the human engineer, worked in the assembly's main engine room. She was surrounded by tall, thin aliens who had 6 fingers on each hand. No, Sun said, pointing at the power system. This is too weak. The shields will fail if you're hit more than once. But we've never needed stronger shields, one alien engineer said. Sun shook her head. You do now. The Vex don't play nice. In another part of the station, Han was trying to teach a group of aliens how to use simple weapons. Hold it steady, he said to a blue-skinned alien who was shaking so much that the practice gun wobbled. Breathe in, then out, then pull the trigger gently. The alien tried, but the shot went wild. I cannot do this, the alien said. Taking life is wrong. Han put his hand on the alien's shoulder. I hope you never have to. But if the Vex come through that door, they won't stop to ask if you think taking life is wrong. They'll just take yours. In the medical bay, a human doctor named Gil worked with alien healers. They were trying to understand each other's bodies in case anyone got hurt in the coming fight. Human blood is red because of iron, Gil explained. What makes your blood blue? Copper, the alien doctor said. And we have 3 hearts. Gil smiled. That's amazing. Let's make sure we know how to keep all 3 beating. Meanwhile, Ju was meeting with Quan and other assembly leaders. They were looking at star maps and trying to guess where the Vex might attack next. Based on their past attacks, Ju said, pointing to several points on the map, they like to hit places that have lots of metals and fuel. Those are our most important resource worlds, Quan said, looking worried. They're smart, Ju admitted. They go after what they need first. Quan looked at Ju with curious eyes. How has your species survived against them? You are so new to space travel compared to us. Ju thought for a moment. Humans are good at adapting. When we face a problem, we get creative. And when someone threatens our home, we fight harder than you'd believe possible. I am starting to believe it, Quan said. That night, Captain Tay couldn't sleep. His wounds hurt and his mind was full of worry. He walked to the observation deck of the station to look at the stars. He was surprised to find Day already there. Couldn't sleep either? He asked. She shook her head. Too much to think about. They stood in silence for a while, looking at the vast space outside. Why do you do it? Day finally asked. Risk your lives for strangers? Tay sighed. It's hard to explain. Humans, we've fought each other for most of our history, but we also protect each other. When the Vex attacked us, we finally had something that united all humans, an enemy that threatened everyone. So you fight because you have to, Dai said. Yes, but also because we choose to. Someone has to stand up to bullies like the Vex. Day looked thoughtful. My people have avoided conflict for so long that we've forgotten how to face it. But I am learning from watching you and your crew. Learning what? Tay asked. That sometimes you must be strong to stay free. That peace is worth fighting for. Suddenly, alarms blared through the station. Red lights flashed. Tay's comm device buzzed. It was Han. "Captain, sensors just picked up multiple Vex signatures. They'll be here in 6 hours." Tay looked at Day. Her eyes were wide with fear. But there was something else there too, determination. "Time to see what we've learned," Tay said. He turned and ran toward the bridge, calling his crew as he went. Behind him, Day was already alerting the assembly. The humans had arrived late to the galactic scene. They had shown up bloody and uninvited. But now they were exactly where they needed to be. The assembly was about to learn what humans were truly capable of when backed into a corner, and the Vex were about to learn that their soft target had found itself some unexpected guardians. 6 hours wasn't much time to prepare for a battle. The assembly station buzzed with nervous energy as everyone rushed to get ready. In the command center, Captain Tay stood with Quan and the other leaders. A large screen showed the incoming Vex fleet, 15 ships, much more than the humans had faced before. "They're angry," Tay said, looking at the screen. "We destroyed their first attack force, so they sent more." "What can we do against so many?" asked an assembly leader with feathers instead of hair. Tay turned to look at the group. "We fight smart, not just hard. The assembly has 20 ships, right?" Quan nodded. "Yes, but they are not warships. They are for science and travel." "Any ship can fight if it has to," Han said as he joined them. "We've added weapons to 6 of your biggest ships already. And we have the Dauntless," Tay added. "Sun and her team have fixed our main engines and weapons." "That's still not enough," Quan said. Tay smiled a little. "Humans are good at being outnumbered. Trust me." In the docking bay, Sun worked with alien engineers to finish the ship upgrades. Her hands moved quickly, connecting wires and testing systems. "These power couplings won't hold for long," she told a tall alien with 4 arms. "But they'll work for a few hours, and that's all we need." The alien looked unsure. "Is a few hours enough time to win a battle?" Sun wiped sweat from her face. "If we're lucky, yes. If not, well, the battle won't last long anyway." Nearby, Day watched as humans taught basic flight maneuvers to alien pilots. The aliens had only ever flown in straight lines from one place to another. Now they were learning to dodge and turn quickly. "You're doing great," a human pilot told a nervous alien. "Just remember, if you can't outgun them, outfly them." Day approached the human. "These tactics, they are not natural to us," the human nodded. "I know, but you're learning fast. Sometimes the best motivation is knowing what you're fighting for." Day looked around at her fellow aliens, all preparing for battle. "We are fighting for our homes, our lives. That's the best reason of all," the human said. In the medical bay, Gil organized supplies with the alien doctors. They had set up extra beds for the wounded they knew would come. "Put the pain medicine here," Gil told a young alien helper, "and the bandages there. We'll need quick access to everything." An alien doctor with green scales watched him work. "You have done this before," she said. Gil nodded, his face serious. "Too many times, but being ready saves lives." "I have never treated battle wounds," the alien admitted. "I am afraid I will fail." Gil put a hand on her shoulder. "You won't, and I'll be right here with you." 2 hours before the Vex would arrive, Captain Tay called everyone together in the main hall. Humans and aliens stood side by side, all looking to him for guidance. "I won't lie to you," Tay said, his voice strong and clear. "This will be hard. The Vex are powerful and they don't show mercy." The crowd was silent. "But they have a weakness," Tay continued. "They think you are weak because you love peace. They expect you to surrender." He looked around at the assembly aliens. "Show them they're wrong. Show them that loving peace doesn't mean you can't defend it." Then he turned to his human crew. "And we will show them what humans do best. Protect those who need protection no matter the cost." A cheer went up from the humans. The aliens didn't cheer, but they stood taller. Ju stepped forward. "We have a plan. The Dauntless will lead the attack with the 6 armed assembly ships. The rest of you will protect the station. If we hit them hard and fast, we can break their formation," Han added. "Remember your training, stay calm, follow orders, we can win this." As the crowd broke up to head to their positions, Day approached Captain Tay. "I want to come with you," she said. On the Dauntless. Tay looked surprised. Why? It will be the most dangerous place. Because, Day said, her silver eyes bright with determination. I need to understand. And I can help. I know Vex technology better than most. Tay thought for a moment, then nodded. Welcome aboard, then. Space was quiet as they waited. The Dauntless flew at the front of their small fleet, with the 6 armed assembly ships behind. Captain Tay sat in the command chair, with Han at weapons and Ju at communications. Day stood near the back, watching everything with wide eyes. Vex fleet entering weapons range in 1 minute, Han announced. Tay opened a channel to all ships. Remember the plan. Break their formation, target their lead ships, then scatter. The first Vex ship appeared on their screens. It was big and black, covered in sharp angles. Then more ships appeared behind it. They see us, Ju said. Good, Tay replied. Let's show them what we've got. Han, target the lead ship. Fire when ready. Han pressed the firing controls. The Dauntless shook as its main weapons fired. Bright beams of energy shot across space and hit the first Vex ship. Explosions bloomed on its surface. Direct hit, Han shouted. The battle had begun. The Vex ships fired back, their weapons stronger than the humans had expected. 2 assembly ships were hit right away, one breaking apart in a flash of light. Evasive maneuvers, Tay ordered. The Dauntless turned sharply, avoiding most of the Vex fire. The remaining assembly ships tried to do the same, but they were slower. Another one took heavy damage. This isn't working, Ju said. They're too strong. Tay gripped the arms of his chair. We need to change the plan. Tell the assembly ships to fall back and protect the station. We'll draw the Vex away. That's too risky, Han argued. We don't have a choice, Tay said. Ju, send the order. The assembly ships turned back toward the station while the Dauntless flew straight at the Vex fleet. What are you doing? Day asked, alarmed. Something stupid and human, Tay said with a grim smile. Han, target their biggest ship, all weapons. The Dauntless fired everything it had at the largest Vex ship. Explosions rocked the enemy vessel, but it kept coming. They're surrounding us, Han shouted as Vex ships moved to circle the Dauntless. The ship shook violently as it took hit after hit. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. Shields failing, Ju reported. Hull breach on deck 3. Tay looked at the screens showing the Vex ships. They were focused on the Dauntless now, ignoring the station and the assembly ships. His plan was working, but at a terrible cost. We can't take much more of this, Han said. That's when Dai stepped forward. I have an idea. The Vex ships share a command signal. If we can disrupt it, they'll lose coordination. How do we do that? They asked. We need to get close to their command ship, Day said, and send a specific signal pattern. Tay looked at her, then at his crew. You heard her. Get us close. The Dauntless turned and headed straight for the heart of the Vex fleet. More hits rocked the ship. A panel exploded, sending sparks across the bridge. Almost there, Han said, his hands steady on the controls. Day worked quickly at a communication panel, setting up the signal. Ready, she said. The command ship loomed large on their screens. It was massive, at least 5 times the size of the Dauntless. Now, Tay ordered. Day sent the signal. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Vex ships seemed to hesitate. Their weapons stopped firing, their formation broke. It's working, Ju said. Han, all weapons on the command ship, Tay ordered. The Dauntless fired everything it had left. The command ship's surface erupted in flames and explosions. Pieces of it broke off and drifted away. On the screens they could see the other Vex ships starting to retreat. They're running, Han said, disbelief in his voice. The bridge crew cheered. Day stared at the screens in amazement. We did it, she whispered. Tay looked at her with respect. No, you did it. You found their weakness. I just knew the weakness, Day said. You were brave enough to use it. The Dauntless limped back toward the assembly station. Though damaged, the ship had survived, and thanks to one brave alien and a crew of determined humans, so had the assembly. 1 week after the battle, the assembly station was still being repaired. Broken parts were being fixed, damaged sections were being rebuilt. The station hummed with activity, but it was different now. The aliens moved with new purpose. They had faced danger and survived. In the medical bay, Gil worked alongside alien doctors. They had saved many lives during and after the battle. Now most of the beds were empty, which was a good sign. "Your methods are strange but effective," the green-scaled alien doctor told Gil. "I would like to learn more about human medicine." Gil smiled. "And I'd like to learn more about yours. That healing gel you use works twice as fast as our bandages." "Perhaps," the alien said. "We have much to teach each other." In a large meeting room, Quan sat with the assembly leaders. They had been talking for hours about what to do next. Captain Tay and Ju sat with them, representing Earth. "The Vex will return," one leader said. "They always do." "Then we must be ready," Quan replied. "No more hiding behind our peaceful ways while others fight for us." Some leaders looked uncomfortable with this idea. "Does that mean we abandon peace?" asked a small, furry leader. "No," Tay said. "It means you protect it. Peace isn't just the absence of fighting. Sometimes it's the thing worth fighting for." Ju nodded. "On Earth we had a saying, 'If you want peace, prepare for war.' It sounds harsh, but it's true. Those who can defend themselves are less likely to be attacked." Quan looked at the other leaders. "The humans have shown us that we can be both, peaceful and strong. The Assembly has been lucky for 200 years. But luck isn't enough anymore." "What do you suggest?" another leader asked. "I suggest," Quan said, "that we invite humanity to join the Assembly." The room erupted in talk. Some leaders nodded in agreement. Others shook their heads. "They are too violent," one shouted. "They saved us," another replied. Quan raised his hands for quiet. "Let us think clearly. The humans used violence, yes, but to protect, not to conquer. They risked their lives for people they had never met. If that is not worthy of respect, what is?" Tay stood up. "If I may speak?" Quan nodded. "I understand your fears," Tay said. "Humans scare ourselves sometimes. Our history is full of wars and conflict, but it's also full of art, music, science, and compassion. We are not just fighters. We are explorers, builders, dreamers." He looked around the room. "We don't want to change who you are. We just want to help keep you safe so you can continue being who you are." The room was quiet as the leaders thought about his words. In another part of the station, Day was showing Min, a human cultural attaché, around a garden area. The garden was full of plants from different worlds, all growing together. "This is beautiful," Min said, touching a blue flower gently. "On Earth we have gardens too, but nothing like this. Each plant represents a species in the Assembly," Day explained. "We believe that diversity makes us stronger, just as different plants help each other grow." Min smiled. "Humans believe something similar. We call it an ecosystem, different parts working together. Yet some Assembly members fear that humans will change our ways," Day said. "They worry you will make us violent." Min considered this. Change isn't always bad. Humans have changed a lot just in our short history. We used to fight each other, all the time. Now we mostly work together. "What changed you?" Day asked. "Many things, but mostly understanding that we need each other to survive. And now, meeting aliens like you, we're changing again, learning new ways to think." Day touched a plant with silver leaves. "Perhaps change goes both ways. I have learned from watching humans that strength and peace can exist together." That evening, the Assembly gathered for their vote. All 50 species were represented. The Great Hall was full. Captain Tay and his crew sat at one side waiting. Quan stood at the center. "Today we vote on a historic decision. Should humanity join the Galactic Assembly?" He took a moment to look around the room. "Before we vote, I wish to speak from my heart. 1 week ago I feared these humans. Their ways seemed strange and violent to me, but when danger came, they stood with us. They bled for us." He pointed to the human crew. "Look at them. Still healing from wounds they got protecting us. They showed up late to our galactic community. They arrived bloody from battle. They came, uninvited. Then Quan smiled. But perhaps that is exactly what we needed. Someone to show us that peace must sometimes be defended, that strength and compassion can go hand in hand. Day stood up next. The humans have a saying. Actions speak louder than words. Their actions have shown us who they truly are. They are protectors. They are guardians. The vote began. Each species had one vote. One by one, they made their choice. When it was done, Quan announced the result. By 45 votes to 5, humanity is welcomed into the Galactic Assembly. Cheers broke out, mostly from the humans, but some aliens joined in too. Tay shook hands with Quan, a gesture the alien had learned from him. Thank you for trusting us, Tay said. You earned it, Quan replied. Later that night, a celebration began. Food and drink from many worlds were shared. Music played, some alien, some human. People talked and laughed together. Sun taught a group of alien engineers about human tools. Han arm wrestled with a four-armed alien and lost, much to everyone's amusement. Ju discussed human poetry with aliens who had 3 eyes and saw colors humans couldn't see. Tay found himself standing with Day at the same window where they had talked before the battle. What happens now? Day asked. Tay looked out at the stars. Now we learn from each other. You teach us about peace and patience. We teach you how to stay safe in a dangerous galaxy. The Assembly is creating a new category for Earth, Day said. Guardian species. The first of its kind. Tay smiled. I like that. Guardians. Will more humans come? Day asked. Yes. And we'll bring our best things. Our art, our music, our science. Not just our weapons. Day nodded. And if the Vex return? Then we'll be ready, Tay said. Together. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the stars. So many worlds out there. So many possibilities. Humanity had arrived late to the galactic community. They had shown up bloody from battle. They had come uninvited. But now, they were where they belonged, standing beside new friends, looking toward a future they would shape together. Guardians of a peace worth protecting. Classic humans, always making an entrance.